Hi, I'm Kyle Amelia and I teach grade 1-2 here at Archwood School. This week, the Educator Summit is responding to the calls to action from the Student Summit pertaining to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Students in LRSD challenge educators to reflect on how we can create more diverse settings in our schools, further incorporate anti-racism teaching, and explore equity and inclusion efforts happening both here in Canada and abroad. In this video, we'll visit 3 schools that are addressing these student calls to action and have students and educators share programming that may benefit students in your classroom and school community. Our first stop is Dakota Collegiate, where we'll hear about the Voices for BIPOC Club, before heading off to Windsor Park Collegiate to hear about their student-led Culture Month. We'll also visit St. George School to hear about their community kitchen programming. These examples serve as highlights to the variety of programming, projects, and work being done throughout LRSD to ensure that all members of the LRSD community, whether staff, student, or community member, achieve a sense of belonging within our schools.
Hi, my name's Abbas Butt. I'm one of the staff members that help lead the student-led Voices for BIPOC committee here at Dakota Collegiate. Right away, I'm going to be introducing you to Miles, Cecina, and Mafalda, and they're going to be talking to you about how this program started, the importance of having a program like this in school, as well as some of the things that we've done in the past.
I'm Miles Saraswat, and I use he, him pronouns, and I started Voices for BIPOC here at Dakota Collegiate. Voices for BIPOC is a club at Dakota Collegiate that fights racism in our schools. We start discussions and plan events like Black History Month, Truth and Reconciliation, and cultural evenings. When I started Voices for BIPOC, it was a very small group, and there were only 4 of us. And when I came back in my grade 11 year, our club grew exponentially to around 40 kids because of the work we'd done in the past. Voices for BIPOC brings a lot to Dakota Collegiate, especially for me personally. I found that I made a lot of connections and friends because I met like-minded people, and I got to share my experiences and relate to other people.
Having Voices for BIPOC at our school is really important to me because growing up, I wasn't able to fully express myself and address issues at our school, whether that be with a student, with a teacher, or with administration altogether. Ever since I've joined BIPOC, I've been able to freely express myself, so I feel that it's a space where my voice can be heard.
Hi, I'm Mafalda. I go by she, her pronouns, and I joined the BIPOC committee last year. This is a group for everyone. We emphasize intersectionality, and we want to include everyone while decentering our white voices and uplifting the voices of students of color.
Dakota Collegiate is a very diverse school, and so we have people from different groups, cultural backgrounds all around the world. And when we were younger, we didn't really present that, so it's really great to see that the school has finally acknowledged that.
Last year, at the beginning of February, so after the first semester, we organized a student-led PD Day. Our group broke off into 4 little groups to combat different problems. The second group that I was a part of was about Black History Month, because this year we decided to make it a big thing at Dakota. We had our themes, past, present, and future, and we really focused on why representation matters. We've also reached out and spoken to other schools that are thinking of starting BIPOC committees, and we even had a virtual divisional assembly for diversity, equity, inclusion in other schools.
Hi, my name is Ashley Meyer. I'm one of the teachers at Windsor Park Collegiate. I was one of the staff members who was a part of our DEI club last year at WPC. One of our responses to the Youth Summit was to start a new club, a new committee, all around diversity, equity, and inclusion. And here today with me, I have some students who are going to share about what they did last year and their hopes moving forward at Windsor Park Collegiate.
At Windsor Park Collegiate, we decided to dedicate May as our first ever Culture Month. So during this month, we did so much involved with DEI, which stands for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. We did things such as hosting a PD Day for our staff members. We had an interview week with students. We also were able to open up communications between classrooms where students were able to discuss why was culture important to them.
Our audience was the WPC staff, and it was our opportunity to raise our voice and teach people around us about culture.
Doing the PD Day was pretty nerve-wracking. It was a different experience. I wasn't used to teaching students about myself. So along with the help of two other peers, I taught about my own culture and, you know, what it means to me and some stereotypes and everything that goes into like my culture. So I think it was pretty unique and really exciting.
Well, after I finished presenting my story about my culture to the staff, I felt very much, I would say, relieved, because this was something I really wanted to do. Because when I saw the survey that, you know, that we could present our culture to staff, at first I was very shy, but then I was like, later on, I want to do this. Why? Because I want to present my culture to staff and tell them how much of emotional importance this is to me, because this is something that I've carried throughout my whole entire life, and it is something that other people should know, and they should also learn about it, you know, because it's very important.
I shared about my culture to all of the teachers at the PD Day. I shared about hunting, fishing, ice roads in my town. I felt really great and proud to share about my culture. It shows a whole different perspective for the teachers to see how it is living up north on the reserve.
So we totally loved the response we got. We loved that the staff was so emphatic and open to hear all our awesome stories, and the students loved the fact to be celebrated just for being them.
The impact that our Culture Month had on students at WPC was astronomical. Like, even to this day, we have students talking about, hey, you remember what we did last May? What can we do to build up on that? I feel like this was the first step really needed as a school, because now teachers are wanting to get involved, students are wanting to get involved, and it feels like we have a community of people who really want to expand on culture, diversity, and inclusion, and really start bridging gaps and opening more conversations about that.
Well, with DI, I'm looking forward to starting new projects with my excellent group members and to be able to also share that ideas with people all over the school.
So this year we will be working for getting an accurate representation of all the cultural diversity in our school, because we see these people every day and we may think there's nothing interesting about them anymore, but that's not true, because everyone has its own story, and that's what we are fighting for. This is a committee from students for students.
Connecting with our school community is a non-negotiable, and as a result, we have created a space here at St. George to bring our community together. Our community room and our community kitchen is not only physically in the center of our school, it is central to our community. It is the hub of our school community. It is also right next door to our family center, which provides for easy transition for parents moving back and forth between spaces while we're hosting programs. The newly refurbished community room is a space that provides opportunities to connect. It is a place for school to connect with both students and parents, where students connect with each other, whether the connection occurs over breakfast, where younger students may connect with older students or vice versa. It's an opportunity to connect in a way that maybe not have presented itself before during the school day or in the neighborhood. It's a place for parents to connect with school and each other, whether it's stopping in for a cup of coffee after dropping off the kids, or attending a baking session, beading lessons, or a parent workshop. It's a place that provides food security. The community room is a place where everyone is welcome. It's a place where we nurture relationships.
One of the initiatives that we introduced last year in the Louis-Riel School Division was our Diversity, Equity, Inclusion virtual story time. And it featured weekly readers. A lot of our teacher librarians and librarian assistants were central to this, but we had a number of students, other staff, including members of our senior leadership team, who came and shared stories around general themes that tied into diversity, equity, and inclusion. The importance of this event was exposing students to varieties of literature that promote a sense of belonging. It was also about promoting voice and student voice. And so some of our guest readers were students who shared books that tied to their identities, books that they might not see reflected in the classroom because the people in front of the classroom don't necessarily belong to those same groups. And it gave students the opportunity as guest readers to talk about what those stories mean to them. And so this exploration helped us explore more diverse forms of literature, stories from people who are different than ourselves, and normalizing this as part of the rich fabric that is the Louis Riel School Division. And so we're looking forward to continuing with this initiative. We're looking forward to growing it, and perhaps even bringing community in to share stories from around the greater LRSD community, and in that way, strengthen our sense of belonging as we focus this year on our overarching question of how do we prioritize belonging here in LRSD.
Hi, my name's Brad Follis. I'm the teacher librarian at Darwin and Victor Wyatt Schools.
Hi, I'm Lisa Ferguson. I'm the teacher librarian at St. George School and Nelson McIntyre Collegiate. We know how important stories are. Stories change our lives.
And stories also shape the way we think about the world.
Yeah, absolutely. They encourage us to take action when we see injustice around us.
Whether it's standing up for the rights of people, maybe it's standing up for rights of the environment.
Yeah, they let us see how other people can live and develop empathy for other people. We know that stories can also encourage us to take action when we see injustice in our world.
That's powerful stuff, Lisa. Now, I think part of the reason behind this initiative isn't just about sharing stories throughout the division, but thinking about how we can bring them back to our classroom and how we can share these diversity stories in what we do on a daily basis.
Absolutely. We encourage people to look at their classroom libraries and make sure the books in your library are current, they're accurate, that they have diverse characters, they're told by diverse authors. It's really important that when students look at the books in their classroom library, they see books that have windows into the lives of other people and mirrors that show themselves back.
We'd encourage you to talk to your library staff to find those books, find those stories that represent new voices, different choices in the world.
Yeah, they will be happy to help you put together a diverse, equitable, and inclusive library for your classroom, or help you select some books out of your school library that will help you to tell those stories to your students.
Hi, my name's Riley Sapine. I'm a grade 7-8 teacher at Nordale School. Thank you for participating in the Equity and Inclusion portion of the LRSD Educator Summit. Now that we're done, we have a few follow-up questions to leave with you. Number 1, which featured initiative would you like to see in your own school? Number 2, are there any other initiatives that you can think of that you would like to organize and implement in your school? Number 3, what activities make you feel included in your classroom, in your school, and in your community? Number 4, what barriers might we face as a division in terms of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and how might we overcome them? Thank you.